Y'all go ahead and make some noise as he comes to the stage for Caleb Brown.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Maya, you make us proud. Can we give it up for Maya just one time, please? I'm grateful for you. So when I came to Macon some 10 years ago, a wide-eyed freshman at Mercer University, I couldn't have predicted the role that Macon, Georgia would play in my life. I feel very much a part of the Macon community, and it is my honor to speak before you this evening. I was initially slated to speak at the 2020 event, but the pandemic had other plans. Still, I was able to connect with the Macon It family via a series of IG Live workouts that some may describe as torturous. And still, you saw fit to bring me back, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So last week, I took a trip with my brothers and my father to Memphis, Tennessee. We had a chance to go to Beale Street, where the soulful energy just kind of seeps into your veins. We also had a chance to visit this restaurant that served various type of meals that features my favorite dish, grits. And I don't want to say their name because on this particular day, they did not meet the Caleb Brown standard for grit preparation. But my favorite part of the trip was visiting the Lorraine Motel. That is where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. It's a National Civil Rights Museum now, and when you tour the museum, you are immersed in the history and the contributions of not only Dr. King, but other civil rights figures. But the most chilling aspect of the tour was observing the room in which he stayed, room 306. This is the room that is undisturbed from its original configuration. This room that is from where he emerged onto the balcony and was shot. And although Dr. King died in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968, the spirit of his legacy lives on today. You agree? Yes, sir. Dr. King was legendary. And we need legendary people. We need legendary teachers who work on earth transcends time. Like Dr. King, their work outlives them. We need legendary people. We need legendary leaders whose lives are defined by service, authenticity, and courage. So when I was younger, my mother, along with a few of her friends, would spend hours packing lunches to feed the homeless. And she would take me along. We'd go downtown Atlanta, under the bridges, down the alleys, and in the streets, providing food for whoever needed it. But that's just my mom. I remember another time when my mother and I were riding along the street and she happened to see a woman carrying a load of groceries. So my mother stopped the car, turned around, picked her up, and took her home. It's kind of hard to fathom that kind of grace in today's society. But that's my mom. She's a servant leader. Not only that, my mom is a legend. Her desire to leave the world a better place than where she found it makes her legendary. Because even if no one else remembers her and the things she did, her spirit and her legacy lives on through me. She is legendary. And we need legendary people, those who can let their uniqueness inspire authenticity in a world that craves uniformity. They, them folk, whoever you deem it to be, they can tell you to be great, be legendary so long as it's palatable. But legends are one of a kind. They are indeed unique. And that's why they can tend to be controversial, because their being challenges conformity, the status quo. But we too are uniquely gifted, and we all have something to offer the world, even in our various professions that may seem to constrict us. We got to remember that we got the secret sauce. It's all in us. You know, your creative genius means that you have something to give. So my friend Ashley, among other things, is a talented photographer and videographer. Yes, please. And her company motto, it reads, "Your light is extraordinary. No flash necessary." And Ash is telling you right there, you don't have to be like anyone else to make a difference. All you have is all you need. You are enough, and your light is bright enough to be legendary. And we need legendary people. We need courageous leaders who will challenge fear and doubt. You know, when Harriet Tubman escaped from slavery, instead of moving on and enjoying her taste of freedom, she elected to re-enter harm's way and serve others. You know, and we honor her legacy to this day. You know, my good friend Taylor and his wife Jade, they both work at a hospital. And when the pandemic tightened its grip on the world, these two remained on the front line serving. And when the experts were telling all of us to avoid close contact, they did the exact opposite. And the courage of Taylor and Jade is going to live on throughout history. Martin Luther King knew that his days were indeed numbered, and still, in the spring of 1968, he traveled to Memphis, Tennessee to serve. And his courage inspires the world today. You see, legends are transcendent. They are unique and can demonstrate the courage to use their uniqueness to serve humanity. So we need legendary people making it. We need you. But you must remember that ultimately you are the architect of your legend. You know, during the opening presentation of TEDx Savannah in 2019, this fine brother from Macon, Georgia, went and set the stage on fire. But in that talk, I talked about painting a life fit for a museum and how you could take life's obstacles and challenges and reframe them as steps to progress. Well, the paintbrush is in your hand. And one of my favorite artists is the Renaissance painter and sculptor Michelangelo. And his depiction of biblical characters throughout his career astounds me because for all of his artistic talents, I have to ask the question, how did you know what those people looked like? Adam, Moses, Jesus, God. In those days, there was no Google, no way to get a good reference, so how? Well, Michelangelo had the brush in his hand, so he had the ultimate authority to determine their likeness. So if he wanted all the men and women from the Bible to have the physique of bodybuilders, that was his prerogative. And that is indeed what he did. Like Michelangelo, you hold the brush. You are the architect of your legend. I remember a time when I was preparing for a painting performance, and of course I procrastinated and didn't get a chance to get to the art store and get a canvas. But that's the beauty of the painting medium, is I was able to take an old painting and paint a new picture on top of it. And many artists can attest to this practice of remastering old work and birthing new creations. And you can do the same with your legend. Don't be mistaken, like the past is still there to teach you a lesson, but you are not defined by only your past. You can reimagine your identity at your discretion because it's your masterpiece to paint. And the wonderful part is your masterpiece is incomparable. I enjoy a good debate every now and again. I enjoy hearing the arguments of when people argue over what's what and who's better. Who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Who's the superior performer? Michael Jackson or Beyonce? Who's a better actor? Denzel Washington or Will Smith? And these debates are trivial because people are stubborn and biased. Obviously, Kobe is the best basketball player that ever stepped on the hardwood. Kirk Franklin is the greatest musician who ever lived. And anyone with eyes can see that Tom Hanks is not getting touched in the movie The Forrest Gump. Relax. Truthfully, life is simply too complex, too subjective to compare your life to someone else's. Your painting is your painting, and their painting is theirs. So paint the picture that speaks to your soul. You are the architect of your legend, and only you can live out what's true for you in your life. So as I close, I want you to remember that when you look in the mirror, you are looking at a legend. When you look in the mirror, you're looking at a legend. So act accordingly. You can be legendary today because you can serve. You can be legendary today because you can be yourself. You can be legendary today because you can be courageous. Act accordingly. But it can still be challenging to occupy a space that demands excellence every single day. And in the past, I have missed several opportunities for advancement because I elected to play small, or I was afraid to leave my comfort zone. But wisdom has taught me that world class begins where your comfort zone ends. Y'all heard that? Y'all taking notes, write that one down. World class begins where your comfort zone ends. So we push our limits. We embrace discomfort every day, and we march on because we are striving to be legendary. You know, I love the psalm. It says, if I can help somebody as I travel along, if I can help somebody with a word or a song, if I can help somebody from doing wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. So make the most of your life. You know, don't leave earth without leaving a legacy. The world needs it. The world needs you. So keep crafting your story. Keep being the architect of your legend. Know who you are. You're legendary. So act accordingly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.